They humble, eh? Arsenal won their first big away European game under Mikel Arteta in a very long time to cement themselves in a really good position in the Champions League and to prove to people in Europe that we are truly back. Now, while it was a brilliant performance overall, let's get into everything that there is to talk about. Now, this is more like it. I've said for a while now that Arsenal needed a statement away win in Europe because even though we haven't played bad in some European games such as Atalanta and Inter so far this year, we haven't got them results to back it up, and even last year you could argue we didn't either. Now, Sporting CP was a brilliant example of how great we are, and I do think that we benefited from some things that we can't maybe control, but also we did prove a lot of people wrong. Now, first of all, we will talk about it. Man City did lose 4-1 there. Of course, Ruben Amorim was in charge for that game, and he isn't in charge now. They've got their new Sporting B manager that's come in for these games. So Arsenal did have an advantage in that sense. However, they still played the same system. They still had the same players. Of course, Victor Gyökeres up front that we all know fully well. And I think Arsenal put them to the sword quite a lot. Now, it's funny saying this because even though we won 5-1, I don't think we were flawless. I still think there was a couple of problems, and especially at the start of that second half where you looked very nervy after they scored. However, the one man that stepped up for us, Martin Odegaard, he picks the ball up, goes past a few players and wins a penalty because Diamonde, who is a defender I like, does a stupid challenge and gives away a penalty. Now, the composure we showed for the rest of the game was brilliant. Another game where we're able to rotate, bring on Zinchenko, bring on Kivior, and it doesn't really matter. The game's over, job done. And eventually Trossard came off the bench and scored as well, with Mourinho having that shot. So realistically, it all worked out. Now, overall, I just want to say that Arsenal creativity looks so good. We created so much XG in this game. We were utterly dominant for big parts of it. And other than maybe our Leicester game earlier on this season, I think this was our best attacking performance. As you can see, our XG was so high and we scored so many goals, but all of them are in that 6-yard box. We were creating meaningful chances in the box for all our players, Martinelli, Havertz, and obviously Trossard late on, where they couldn't literally miss. And that is exactly what is so easy to say to do, which not necessarily is easy to actually perform, but we need to do more of that. And I do think that we can rely a lot on players like Odegaard and Saka now, who are in incredible form for this team, to get us through to the next games. And that's the first person I want to talk about, Bukayo Saka. Now, I really strayed away from doing videos about Saka. I've done quite a few this year, to be fair, because I do think that a lot of people just know how good he is and there's not really much to say. But sometimes I think we need to give this guy more credit than he is getting. He is one of the best Arsenal players I've ever seen play for the club. Of course, I've been supporting Arsenal now for 16 years, so it isn't the biggest sample size. You know, I didn't watch the Invincibles every day, every week out, because I wasn't as old enough. But Saka in that time has been absolutely incredible. And in fact, he's from our academy. The fact that all the other things are part of him make him even better. He truly is an absolute star. He picks the ball up from anywhere on the pitch. He finds space all the time. There was points in that first half where Sporting were getting 2 or 3 men on him and he was still getting a shot away. And that's when I knew that this guy in the big away European games is it. I knew it anyway, but I think this is a proven factor now. I also want to give a lot of credit to people like Declan Rice. Now, Declan Rice in this game played in that left centre mid spot, which I have said I don't really like him playing in, but you know, whatever. Now, Ben Maddison has said that he thinks Rice is playing there because it allows him to get better at the half term of defending, and it gives him a little bit of leeway with Partey being there to cover, which I do agree with. And I definitely think from that standpoint, you can definitely see he's turning Rice into a different player. Even if he does move Rice into a 6, I think he wants different attributes out of him. And in this game, I just thought he really got the space well. He really made the passes really good in between the lines on the right side. And overall, I liked how in this game we had a clear pattern of attack. Now, I've complained that we maybe go down the right too much and, you know, we need to be a bit more balanced. But it's quite clear since we've come back, we've gone back to our old system. Let's just rely on the right side, and the left side can be either people that get into the box late on when it matters. And in this game, that really did happen. The right side, Timber, Saka, Odegaard, Rice, Partey also came over there, all amazing. And they really did just dominate Sporting the whole time. I do think the Sporting goalkeeper also had an absolute clang. I don't know what he was doing for half the goals, but it was just so good to watch us play in such a fluid motion. As soon as one player would come out, we'd instantly pass the ball through. Of course, Timber is the player that everyone is talking about. I did a video on Monday saying he was underrated, and I didn't mean underrated in maybe a quality sense, but I just felt like he wasn't getting talked about enough. But it's funny, since that video come out, I feel like all the people are talking about Timber. All week, I think people have been speaking about him a lot more, and in this game, I think everyone's going to be talking about him now, and they deserve to. This is what Timber deserves the whole time, to come back from an ACL injury, to not only make the movements that he does, but be so good in the final third and be so defensively sound. He is everything we ever wanted. And I saw a comment saying that if we had him last year, we probably would have won the league, and I have to agree, but obviously we just have to look into the future. But Timber is an amazing player, and any time I see Arsenal's lineup being Odegaard, more importantly Timber and Calafiori, I just get excited. The 2 fullbacks that we have there, when they're fit, are just so good. And with Gabriel and Saliba yet again, absolute monsters in this game. Victor Gyökeres is coming in, scoring 50 goals this year or something, you know, bullying defenders. He even scored a hat-trick against Man City. And although he definitely had some moments, I think later on in the game when Kivior came on, Zinchenko came on, he had a bit more chances. I don't think he was great. I think there was a lot to his game that you can see he's trying. He's very physical, he's big. But when he comes up against Saliba and Gabriel, who are one of the best centre-back partnerships in the world, which is fair enough, so it's quite hard for him to get through. He did struggle. They really did lock him down, I felt, for like most of the game. And I feel Gyökeres is still a great player. I don't think Arsenal will buy him. I've said this for a while now, but I do think that in this game the defensive line was incredible. And also shout out to David Raya, who did some really good saves and his distribution was key. And I do think David Raya is one of them other players that you look at, and his improvement from last year to this year, I thought in the last couple of months of last year he was really good. This year he's just incredible, one of the best keepers in Europe by far, which he shouldn't have to be. The defense should be better, but to date it was really good. And although there was some shaky points, I do think when we conceded, we eventually kept composed, got the penalty, Saka composedly put it away, and we were pretty comfortable for the rest of the game. Now, not looking at tactics, not looking at stats, ultimately looking on paper, the fact we won 5-1 away against Sporting is incredible. This puts us in a great position to get top 8 in the Champions League. Of course, Manchester City drew to Feyenoord. Yet again, they haven't won in 6 games. They've got Anfield away. Real Madrid play Liverpool tomorrow, and they've already lost 2 of their games in the Champions League. Teams like PSG are really struggling. Leipzig have 0 points, and Bayern only have around the same points as us. So it's not exactly a given factor. We do have easier games as well. We play Genoa, we play Bologna, and we play Monaco, who of course I think on the same points as us right now. So they are probably our toughest game, but we do play them at the Emirates, which gives us a bit of an advantage. And that is our hardest games in the Champions League done for the groups. We've done the Inter, we've done the Atalanta, we've done the PSG, and now we've done the Sporting. And to get out of it with what I'm happy with, when I looked at it at the start, I said a draw against Atalanta is fair enough, and a loss against Inter, but we have to win every other game. And at the moment we are on course for that, and I'm very happy considering a lot of other teams around us have been quite poor. We're in every bit of opportunity to get that top 8 placement, so we miss a whole 2-legged affair in March, which is going to be great if we can get there. But more importantly, this game is not necessarily about that. It's more about Arteta proving himself. I've wanted Arsenal to be good away from Europe, and I think we have been poor, maybe results based more than performance based away at Europe, but it's our experience that we haven't naturally got in these levels. We've never been great in Europe away under Arteta. There were some games in the Europa League we did well on. We beat Seville obviously last year in the groups, and that was pretty good, but even other than that, it's been quite hard for us. We've been quite nervy, we played quite defensive, and he just went all out today, relied on what we're good at, and we absolutely demolished them. And that is exactly what you want to see. It's all great, and 2 wins in a row, it's the momentum that we need. We've got West Ham on the weekend, gonna be a tough game, of course it always is, but if we continue to play like we are right now, I have no doubts that we will do well in that game. And I think that's the main thing, keeping that confidence running, you know, not even look at things like Man City. It is quite funny to meme Man City because of their situation, but don't even look at them. We just got to focus on ourselves and focus on our games, and then things will happen. And hopefully with a lot of games coming up, we can keep our players fit. Overall in the comments, let me know what you guys think. There'll probably be a tactical video coming out just after this in a couple of hours, so I'll be going into a bit more detail about the game state there. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.